Hello everybody, this video is about minimum viable product. If you plan a business, you need to experiment on the field with some prototypes, to get important feedbacks. The fastest and cheapest way to experiment with your business on the field, is to use a minimum viable product, in different development versions. If for example you plan to design a special bike with an electrical engine, the cost of producing this prototype is relatively high. The second problem is that you produce an expensive prototype that you have to modify again, with other expensive, and timing effort. You should simplify your product to get a similar product, that is easier and faster to prototype. We have in this example 3 versions of your product: the cheapest, the intermediate, and the final one. The cheapest version is the low fidelity, minimum viable product. The intermediate one is the high fidelity, minimum viable product. The low fidelity minimum viable product is the version to use for your first experiments, and to collect first feedbacks from customers. You spend a low amount of money, and you build this prototype quickly. After you learn from your first prototype, you can proceed with building the intermediate model, with higher costs, but with some improvements learned from the previous experiments. With this methodology you are able to experiment quickly and with lower costs, and to build the higher fidelity prototype with some important improvements learned previously. Apply then the same improvement cycle to the intermediate prototype, in order to build your final prototype with all possible improvements learned from the first and second minimum viable products. This sequence permits you to improve by steps your final product, starting from your basic low-cost prototype. If we identify different steps to improve a product, we would start from a function prototype, then we would go to a reliable prototype, then we would consider user experience, and finally the design. This way, our basic prototype would just be a functional prototype, without considering the other upper features. This is not the best way to produce a minimum viable product. We should also consider at least some parts of the upper features to get a good minimum viable product. This is the correct way, building the prototype to be functional, but also a bit reliable, a bit user-friendly, and with some interesting design. This is not easy to do, as we have to stay cheap and we should quickly produce our prototype, but it is important to get better feedback from customers. We start with the first prototype, we ask customer what they think about, we observe them by using this prototype, we try to understand and measure feedbacks, we learn, and we try to improve. Improvements should be applied to our high fidelity minimum viable product. We start again our cycle, we ask, we observe, we understand, we learn, and we prepare some changes for our next prototype. We reach to our final expensive product, that is the result of experimenting with low-cost prototypes. This product is much better thanks to our minimum viable product experiments. This product has a better alignment to customer needs and expectations, reaching earlier the product market fit. Business angels like this methodology, and they are more likely to invest in your company to build your prototypes, as very important improvement steps. Once you build your first minimum viable product, you reach investment readiness level 4. The higher this level, the higher the probability to get investments. The intermediate prototype, an improved and high fidelity version of your final product, let you reach level 7. Investors are very sensible to this step, as return on investments from this level are much higher than before. As you can see from this generic graph, from level 7, the high fidelity viable product, the probability of getting investments in your business grows exponentially. This will give you a big advantage in getting investments for your business. I hope this quick tutorial was useful for you to get a clear picture of what a minimum viable product is. Thank you for watching Simple Money Tips. We are working on other business examples. If you have questions, write them down here. If you want, leave a like or subscribe to this channel. Thank you very much.